Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Jackson. Would you like to join me, or how should we? Okay. Give us one moment. This was such an enlightening evening, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I'm going to be reading from my paper. I'm an actress, and it's just easier to stick with the script, so I'm going to do that here instead of going off the riff. But I really am going to kind of open this up and head us into the next direction where we can talk about some historic memory here. So, you know, oppressive systems have always relied on control of information, of resources, and of people. Their methods change, but their function remains the same: to divide, to suppress, and to isolate. And today, that control operates through the algorithm, the latest tool in a very old playbook. We talk about it casually, as if it's just a function of the apps that we use, but the algorithm is not neutral. It is an architect of perception. It dictates not just what we see, but how we feel about what we see. It tells us what deserves our outrage and what we should ignore. It amplifies echo chambers, rewards dissent, and distorts moral clarity. And that is not accidental. The algorithm is designed and maintained by tech moguls and wannabe autocrats who profit from engagement regardless of harm. It is shaped by geopolitical forces that use division as a tool to destabilize democracy. And it thrives on distraction, keeping us looking at each other as adversaries rather than looking up to ask who benefits from this. If we are not careful, we will mistake spectacle for substance. We will mistake visibility for power. We will mistake performance for progress. And we will find ourselves fighting for liberation within a system that has already predetermined the limits of our freedom. So, we build movements in spaces available to us, but we cannot mistake access for ownership. History tells us when movements become dependent on systems they do not control, those systems will find a way to contain them. So I ask, if the apps disappear tomorrow, would our coalition still stand? Because a movement sustained only by an algorithm is a movement that can be erased by one. Now, this is not a call to abandon technology nor a rejection of the progress that we've made using it, but it is a reminder that these tools do not belong to us, and if we do not use them with intention, they will use us instead. Now, former US Surgeon General Vivek Murthy has called this era an epidemic of loneliness, which we've heard about tonight. But the greatest consequence of our isolation is not just our disconnection from each other, but it is our disconnection from the skills we need to rebuild that connection. We are losing the fundamental ability to bridge divides, resolve conflict, and sustain true solidarity. Because a world where conversation is dictated by character limits and comment sections is a world that leaves little room for nuance. Now, I am a part of a generation that is still learning how to sit in discomfort, how to hold tension without breaking, how to engage in hard conversations without disengaging from each other. And we have been conditioned to fear complexity. So I cannot overstate this. Our charge is not just to fight for justice, but to ensure that our movement understands that being a warrior for justice does not negate the necessity of being a student of humanity. Because our collective liberation depends on empathy, and empathy is not passive. It's an active commitment to understanding, to bridging divides, to doing the hard work of showing up for one another beyond the screen. So yes, we live in a time where algorithms primed for sowing division are rewarded with social currency, where dehumanization masquerades as righteousness, where moral clarity is in decline. But this is not the first time we have faced such a challenge, and there is in fact another way forward. We counter manufactured division by strengthening real, in-person coalitions. Because no algorithm can manipulate what we build face-to-face. For decades in Gloria Steinem's apartment, it wasn't just a meeting place. It was a nerve center of movement building. Ideas were sharpened, strategies refined, and solidarity forged in the kind of face-to-face dialogue that fuels lasting change. My father, Reverend Jackson, didn't register over 2 million voters who would go on to join his Rainbow Coalition by sending automated messages. He showed up, county by county, face to face, meeting people where they were and moving them into action. Their work is a testament to the enduring truth. When you know your neighbors, not just their names, but their struggles, their histories, their hopes, propaganda cannot thrive. We do not just fight this system by exposing it. We fight it by reclaiming what it worked so hard to erode, our solidarity. If the algorithm is built to divide us, then our multi-generational, multi-ethnic, and multi-faith coalition must be built to defy it. And that work does not start tomorrow or in some distant future. It starts here in this room with each of us tonight. So yes, we can use these tools. We can wield them to amplify, to connect, to mobilize. Bear with me.
me.
But we must do so with clarity, understanding that the same systems that are spreading our message can also distort it. Technology can be a tool, but it cannot be the foundation, because the foundation of our resistance must be grounded in our historical memory and in human connection. And it is in that spirit that we look to visionaries like Gloria Steinem, an eternal hopeaholic, not just for guidance, but as a reminder that this fight has always required persistence, strategy, and hope. And I know that there's no better person to send us forward with a final word of encouragement as we end today's conversation.
It's a no. A copy of that, but I mean, no stress here. Am I supposed to be the final person with... First of all, I thank every one of you for taking time out of your busy lives and coming here. There is no substitute, with all due respect to the media, to being together physically. It's the only way that we communicate with oxytocin, you know, the chemical that means, you know, if you see somebody falling on the sidewalk in front of you, you want to help them. Not true on television or in newspapers, with all due respect. Okay. So, okay, some people we might let fall. All right. But I urge you to remember the power of being together and to translate this into our daily lives. There's a reason why solitary confinement is the worst punishment all over the world, right? We totally need each other. And I am so glad, so fan-fucking-tastic glad to see all of you in this room, thanks to the great Dion. We only have a little revolution to assign to each other. And the first part of it is just to make sure, if you can, you know the people who are sitting around you, who are walking out with you, who live in your neighborhood. I talked to my mail delivery guy who turned out to be the political boss of Queens, you know, to really connect with each other, talk, organize, and realize that Trump is a fiction, all right? He is a toupee. He 96% of the people in Manhattan don't support Trump. It's people in the rest of the country for their own interests or because they don't know him. All right. So we on this little island are the source of rebellion, of democracy, of love, of communication with each other. And I hope we start maybe tonight by each of you, if you so feel, introducing yourself to people around you and making sure that you go home with new friends, new revolutionary colleagues, new subversives. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Because of you, I'm 90 years old, okay? And I looked up on the internet to see who was the oldest woman in the world. And I found a woman in the Himalayas who at least says she is 135. So because of you in this room, I'm aiming for 135.